So in this second part, before I go into what's been happening recently, I just want to cover the rest of what's in this chart, just for people that don't know. So these are also biblical timelines. So if we go and we look at we start at what Jesus said in Matthew 24. He said, "Learn a parable of the fig tree when its branches yet tender and puts forth leaves. This generation shall not pass." And this is pretty standard. You know, a lot of people probably already know this, but the fig tree is Israel, Hosea 9, verse 10, and also Psalms 90, verse 10, says the days of our years are 70, which kind of implies maybe they're talking about a generation. So is a generation 70 years? It could be. We have further confirmation of that in Daniel 9:24 that says 70 Shabuah are determined upon thy people in thy holy city. 70 Shabuah can also mean 70 years, because the word Shabuah also means feast of weeks, of which there are one per year. It's a Jewish holiday. So so when Jesus said that this generation shall not pass till all the things that he was talking about comes to pass, he's talking about when Israel is yet tender and puts forth leaves. So, you know, this is pretty much standard common knowledge that Israel became its own sovereign state in 1947, and 70 years later would be 2017. This prophecy was actually fulfilled as well, and I think it was 457 BC. Until the time of Jesus, there were actually 70 periods of 7. So this word Shabuah, which in your King James Version, if you open up and look at Daniel 9:24, it says 70 weeks, but that word weeks is actually Shabuah. The Hebrew word is Shabuah, and it means several different things. So it means a period of 7, and that definition has already been fulfilled from, like I said, from 457 BC, when the third decree went forth, until the time of Jesus. That was 70 periods of 7. And so that has been fulfilled once, but it's very, very possible that it could be fulfilled again, because Scripture has multiple levels and it's fulfilled many times. But so this word Shabuah, it can mean a period of 7, it can mean a singular 7, or it can mean sevens, so a multiple of 7. It can also mean Feast of Weeks, which again is a holiday that happens in the springtime. It's a Jewish holiday every spring. So in Daniel 9:25, it says, "Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem unto Messiah shall be 7, 7, and 62 feast of weeks." So this is a not so common discovery. As far as I know, I don't know of anyone else that has figured this one out yet, but there were 7 plus 7 feasts of weeks from 1947 until the year of Obama's birth, and 62 feasts of weeks from 1947 until Obama winning the Peace Prize in 2009, which was the first year of his presidency. So that is a fulfillment of Daniel 9:25. Then we also have a fulfillment that has to do with Obama yet again, and that's from Daniel 12. And it says, "And from the time that the employment position shall be taken oath, and the idol that maketh terror set up, there shall be 1290 days." Now, again, I have several videos below this video in the description box that go into extreme detail on this and show you what the words mean and everything. But your King James Version will say, "From the time that the sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1290 days." But when we look into these words, we see that there's other definitions. So we see that the words actually mean continual. This word sacrifice also can mean continual employment. And another word for continual employment is an employment position, like your job. So from the time that the job shall be taken oath, this word depose, this is a definition of this word, depose, which means to make an oath. So from the time that the position shall be taken oath, and the abomination or the idol, another standard a legitimate definition of this Hebrew word is idol, and the idol that maketh desolation or horror, and another word for horror is terror, there shall be 1290 days. So from the time that the position shall be taken oath and the idol that maketh terror set up, there shall be 1290 days. Okay, so what we have is we have exactly 1290 days from the time that Obama took the oath of office the first time until August 2nd, 2012, when they placed the steel beam that he signed into the One World Trade Center. And then in Daniel 12:12, it says, and blessed is he that cometh to the 1335 days. And that ended up being the Feast of Trumpets 2012. So, like I said before, that may not be the final fulfillment, but it is definitely a fulfillment of Daniel 12:11 and 12 right there again. And then down here we have the 1260-day timeline, and there's several scriptures on that. So we have, for example, Revelation 2 and 3, but the court which is without the temple leave out, measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city they shall tread under foot 42 months. 42 months is also 1260 days, which is also 3.5 years. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1260 days. So that's Revelation 11:2 and 3. Revelation 12, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of God that they should feed her there 1,260 days. So again, 1260 days. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time, a times, and half a time, which again is 1260 days, or 3.5 years basically. A time being 1 year, times being 2 years, and half a time being a half. So 3.5 years from the face of the serpent. But I mean, this is also means other things as well. I mean, we know that there have been multiple fulfillments of these scriptures throughout history. It's not just something that's going to happen in the future. These are things that a lot of these things have already been fulfilled, and that's why there's, I think, so many different meanings and possible meanings for all of these words, is because there's all these different fulfillments that happen. And then Revelation 13:4 and 5, and they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like the beast? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given to him to continue 42 months, which is 1260 days, or 3.5 years. It also can be 1260 years, because we know that this happened during the time of the Pope. And again, I have a grand timeline that you can look at in another video. And you'll find it if you go through some of the links below this video. You'll find that grand timeline that goes all the way back to 3984 BC, I think it is. But this was already fulfilled once as well, and that was with the Vatican. The Vatican itself actually admitted that there was a certain period of 1260 years where they conducted their inquisitions and all that, and that ended up being 1260 years. Because we know that there's a scripture that says a day for a year, etc. So days can also mean years. Daniel 7:25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand for a time, times, and the dividing of time. So again, 1260 years, and that one already happened as well. That was what the Pope did. And one said to the man, and this is Daniel 12:6 and 7, and one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, How long shall it be until the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters, when he held up his right hand, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and a half. So again, 1260 days, or 3.5 years. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. Daniel 12:12, by the way, is about the end time, because Gabriel specifically says that. And then, so that's pretty much what the 1260 days are about. So we have a 1260-day period from the day that Obama won the Peace Prize until March 22nd, 2013. And then we also have a 1260-day period from March 20th until August 31st, 2016. And the reason why that's interesting is because we have a solar and lunar eclipse immediately after it, literally the very next day. And we know that's important because Jesus had said in Matthew 24 that immediately after the tribulation, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give her light. So again, I think there are multiple meanings to this. I mean, this could actually be a celestial event that's going to happen, but also these solar and lunar eclipses are important. So it seems to indicate possibly that this might actually be an important time period right here, possibly even a tribulation. Because we have the ending of the 1260 days right here, literally the day before this solar eclipse on the 1st and the lunar eclipse on the 16th. So that is basically what this timeline is. Let me just go in now and show you the very, very bizarre alignments that we found. So for right here on August 2nd, this fulfillment that we had, where the steel beam that Obama signed was placed in the One World Trade Center, 40 days after that was the anniversary of September 11th. 7 days after that was the Feast of Trumpets, the standard Feast of Trumpets, and 7 days after that was the Feast of Atonement. We get this 7-day period from the story of Noah. It said at the end of 40 days, there were 7 days, and he waited 7 days and 7 more days. I don't have that scripture in there, but that's Genesis 7, I think it is. So then on this timeline right here, we had Noah's 40 days starting exactly on the standard Feast of Trumpets and ending on the Day of Atonement from this timeline. We had Moses' 40 days starting exactly on the Revelation 12:4 fulfillment with the Draconid meteor shower, which happened on the 7th day of Sukkot on the standard calendar. Then we had down here on this timeline, we had the 1st day of Sukkot happening on Halloween and the 7th day of Sukkot landing on Election Day. On this timeline here, we had, and also on this timeline, we had Noah's 40 days starting on Halloween and ending on the 1st day of Hanukkah. We had Moses' 40 days starting on the Thanksgiving Day and ending on January 1st. And remember the story of Moses coming down from the mountain after the first 40 days. Was he found that golden calf. The Israelites were worshiping the golden calf, and they have that golden bull on Wall Street. And this year, on January 1st, they were worried about the fiscal cliff. So I thought that was interesting. And then 40 more days, Moses went up, remember again, for another 40 more days, and then came back down on February 11th, where the Pope made that announcement that he was going to resign, which was a huge event because he's the 7th king, and I've covered that in other videos. The 8th king is the beast. So February 11th was a really huge alignment date. It lined up with the 1st day of Sukkot on this timeline, and Moses descending for the second 40 days on this timeline, and the 1st day of the 11th month on this timeline. So that was a really big date right there, and it matched up with these alignments. Then we also had this amazing alignment on December 21st when, according to this timeline, Moses ascended up literally on December 21st and then comes back down for the second time on March 11th, 12th, and then 7 days and 7 more days after that lands exactly on the 1st day of Passover. So that was pretty amazing. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and start part 3 in the next video, and then that's where I'll go into what has happened and what's about to happen.